Hi, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, grace, mercy, kindness, humbleness, and nurturing watch over us with a lot of healing and lead us to the reign of God. Ashe. Okay, so what we've seen so far, because the last card that we have here is put down, pick up 3. Okay, so what we have is romantic partners in love, body cleanse, straight thick fine hair of a girl, and we already note that it could be physically that they have long hair, straight thick back hair. I'm getting the color black. If so, it could also mean symbolically talking about power, willpower, and then the color black meaning the privacy, the secrecy, the cloakedness of that power. Okay, someone playing victim, possibly a psychology expert, but this is going to be something new. Like, it's not going to have the same result that it's had in the past when people acted in this way. Like, this psychology expert only acted this way so that people could be in the familiar energy, if that makes sense. They could be in familiar energy, but what they were saying was different. How they were saying it was the same, but the words that they said had more depth, and so it's creating a different outcome. Okay, there's going to be a serious surgery or coma now, and it could be that in the physical sense, like someone is going to be put in the hospital and maybe, you know, in a coma, or require to be put under sedation. Okay, so I'm not really getting that the knife part is the issue, is the being under sedation. Maybe your body won't take it well, or whatever the case is. I'm sending you a lot of healing powers and positive energy and luck. That is what I'm being called to give you. Luck, miraculousness, because it's a part of your karma. But if it's given in this reading, then that means that you're doing the works to not accrue that karma anymore. It was already set in stone, and you did this last minute work to get yourself out. So I'm sending you positive vibes, and I ask anyone who's watching this video to send out positive vibes for anyone that's going through this serious surgery. But this could also mean, in a symbolic sense, that something is being removed from your life surgically. So something is going to be cut from your life, or something is going to be fixed. Something that was broken is going to be reconstructed so that something better can happen after. That's what this serious surgery could be about too. Okay, why? Because there's a beginning cycle. That's how we know there's a beginning cycle that's coming. So we can see that this is already positive. All right, we said that when the Scorpio is reversed, they're not showing up in their Scorpio light, so they could be moving in a vengeful light. But what I'm gauging here is that they don't really have Scorpio aspected in their chart much, but they are evolving as a person. Unfortunately, they evolved in knowing the negative aspects of this sign before knowing, you know, the balance of the positive. Okay, it's good knowing the negative so you know not what to do, but if you only know the negative, then you think that's what the sign is. So they showed up in this light, not understanding like there's a balance. Okay, and having children express that balance to them to show them that there is a way that the universe will still teach you the lesson, even if you're not okay with learning it yourself. Okay, so maybe this person is a caregiver of children, and one of the children is a Scorpio, so they learned how to be a Scorpio from the child, and how they show up with the child is very aggressive and defiant. Well, that's because the child needs to be taught how not to be defiant. It's not because Scorpios are like that. Okay, and this could be in a reverse sense too. I'm getting like if a child is with a parent, right, and that parent is a Scorpio, okay, but that parent's always being authoritarian. Well, that Scorpio may show up in a negative light if the authoritarian is constantly correcting bad behavior or bad decisions. So now that child is growing up only learning had to be a mean Scorpio, according to them. Okay, now they're relinquishing that. It's a part of a transition period. You see the dark so that you can feel what didn't work. Now let's move to the light. Okay, something about an alcohol enthusiast. So definitely the caregiver. I'm definitely not talking about the child here, and if I was, it wouldn't be a part of this reading. The caregiver child is celebrating something. I'm not getting a pour it up because we're all depressed. No, I'm getting pour it up, watch it all fall out. Like, that's what I'm getting here. Okay, because whatever undercover cops that were playing games, it's no longer playing games, right? They're having a water birth. They're being reborn. Okay, they're being reborn in the most natural sense. They are crying and purging out all the feelings of the old. And even if it has nothing to do with the child here, or even if it has anything to do with the present moment, it could be since the age of 2 that they were upset about something. And they're finally at the age of 80 crying about it. Success, you're being reborn. That's the whole point of each time in this collective. Rebirth, until you're able to be the ascender instead of the one seeking ascension, right? Yeah, okay. So they're getting a natural water birth, like, beautiful. And so what's going to happen, because they've, in a sense, accepted this death and rebirth process, they're going to maybe get a new car or have access to a car. I'm getting this, like, this person was on punishment. Like, what is going on? Like, you couldn't go by your friend's house. Like, what's going on here? Punishment? Yes, American Dad. Like, oh my gosh, what happened? You were doing bad things. You were doing bad things and had to get things taken away from you. It is crazy. Oh, the beaver. Okay, so in my last reading, a beaver came out, and then the beaver is here again. Okay, so the beaver was a symbol of using resourcefulness. To define it a little bit more, it teaches us to be persistent and use available resources to be productive, eliminating the limitations that are already set on us. Okay, so here we go. I guess this American Dad was grounded. He couldn't, he couldn't use the car because he couldn't purge his emotions. Or he seemed like American Dad because he couldn't purge his emotions, and then he lost out on a car. Or something like that. Okay? But I'm laughing because it's just like, is someone named Lewis? Is your name Lewis? Get it together, Lewis. Okay? Oh, okay. So, okay, so Lewis, or if your name's not Lewis, you're just the energy of Lewis. So Lewis, is trying to plan something with someone, right? Is trying to have a life, but maybe has a previous life, and that previous life is in the form of children. Now, with the form of children, they've had these children with the basic person, and I hate to say it like that. It's just this person is constantly in karmic cycles and don't show any progression out, to be a part of the collective. So they're just a karmic here, and that's where the basic comes into. Okay, but shh, don't tell them that because they'll go crazy, right? So because of having the kids with, this American Dad, they were granted material items. Unfortunately, with whatever quarrel fight that they had, they are no longer an item, and the material items that were offered are no longer offered. Okay, why? Because this fight created a new timeline, created a new lifestyle. Okay, so this person who initially was like the patriot for the white picket fence American family had to be removed from this because he was in a spiritual war. This fight that he had with this basic, I'm gonna call her a basic B, but I don't, we're not gonna do that. The core fight that he had with this basic B created some kind of ethereal war that he was having. So every time he went to sleep, he was having nightmares. Whenever he woke up, he would be in like sweats or have shivers. He didn't get a lot of sleep. It wasn't a lot of hours. He seemed dehydrated, like he couldn't keep hydration, had constipation. Like the spiritual war, spiritual war burp, the spiritual war was definitely showing up physically for him. And so he had to remove this American dad outlook. Like he saw, y'all have seen, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Like you've seen Stan. You can tell all his scruples are not there, yet he is the leader of an entire family that's supposed to lead an entire family. He works for the CIA. Like, yeah, no, he's supposed to be esteemed, and then look at him have an issue, you know, screwing a bolt on, like with a manual and a team. Like, come on now. So this person is definitely moving away from this American dad vibe. And a few days ago, I had a reading on this energy who was showing up like Peter Griffin. I'm not entirely sure if this is the same energy, and I don't even want to ask, because that just means that energy is just hijacking all the readings. And for those of you who are new, I want you to be able to absorb this energy without that being an additional, okay? If you were not at that Peter Griffin stage, I am not going to tell you go look at that and go regress in your healing process. No. The Peter Griffin stage comes before the American dad stage, okay? So you're just a dope who feels like you need to just let everyone else tell you what to do. You can still end up with a family and a job and a career and all of that, but it is, again, with everyone else telling you what to do and you still don't believe them, you're still making mistakes. But then you get to this American dad to where, you know, you don't really trust what other people are saying, because now you have some sort of resources to give you the information you need, okay? So like his job, for example, gives him the power and authority to tell everyone what to do, to tap into everyone's business always. So when it comes to his family, has that authority and power with him, okay? But in actuality, he is a scared child who is still, you know, moving with unhealed trauma from his grandfather, who was like Krampus, and then his mother and his father who stepped out, and all this other stuff. So it's just like he's a ball of unresolved trauma who lets that fester in his subconscious enough to chastise and antagonize his family to be the way that they are. Okay, now a healed person wouldn't react to a lot of the stuff that happens in the show the way that he does, but he is unhealed. So that is where a lot of the juiciness in the story comes from. Okay, so the energy we're talking about was once a family guy type of person, right? He was once a Peter Griffin, right? But now we're talking about a new energy. We're not even talking about the same energy. It's like this person is timeline jumping. Now we're talking about a new energy that's showing up like American Dad. If you knew American Dad and Peter Griffin, they cannot be one and the same. They cannot be in the same, like it's not feasible. So that is kind of the same thing with this Peter Griffin and American Dad. They've shifted and grown, but it's because they timeline jumped. Okay, they cannot return back. That's the thing. When you timeline jump, you can never return back to a previous timeline. You can jump to a worse one, but you can never return back to any timeline that you were initially a part of. So this spiritual war has ignited some kind of flame to remove this American Dad who may have had an Aquarius in his life. Okay, so what was it with the American Dad? We talked about the parental figures, Krampus, a grandfather, that showed up in a way that debilitated Stan. He wasn't able to learn the proper way of handling emotions, handling life experiences. So there must be an Aquarius that is in this American Dad's life, right? That is karmic. And I'm going to justify why I say karmic really quickly, but I would like to use the pendulum. Okay. Hi, Divine. How you doing? Can you show me no? Thank you. Can you show me yes? Thank you. And that we're on the right track. Much appreciated. Okay. Be still. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, so we're talking about American Dad figure here. Yes? Yes. Okay. So this Aquarius is a parental figure. Yes. Is it a mother, father, uncle? Okay, it could be all of these things. It could be a mother, father, uncle, aunt, anyone that has some kind of authority over this American dad in a way that cannot be overlooked. You get what I'm saying? Like, they raised him. Like when this American dad could not support himself legally, he couldn't legally support himself. This is the person that was supporting him. Okay, now because of this person, is it in reverse because they're a karmic? Aha, okay, that's why I need the justification. They are seeming like a karmic. They are seeming like a karmic because of their stance. It may go against what they've previously done. Maybe they were the person to say, you need to be alone. And now they're telling you, you need to be with someone. Okay, maybe they're the person that would normally say, you need to go out more. And now they're telling you, you need to stay home more. Okay, so it's like, that's how this Aquarius is showing up to this American dad. They may have taught them one way of living up until this point, but now with their own learning lessons, they're telling the American dad the right way of doing things. It's like, yeah, I was wrong. Whoo, did y'all hear that? I was wrong. Like, I could say that all the time, but like, I just said it as if I was somebody else, and I was just like, wow, when's the last time I heard someone else say that? Like, wow. But this Aquarius definitely said it to this American dad. They were wrong about whatever they had thought, possibly about a Sagittarius, and this Sagittarius is in the upright, so we can see that this person who may have been moving in this fire light, because I have this candle going, who has been moving in kind of a fiery energy, kind of impulsive, but doing works that are just and alluring to every participant, not just one person gets the benefit. Everyone there gets a little piece of the pie type of thing. That's how this Sagittarius was moving, with a lot of gusto. Okay, and I think this Aquarius kind of doubled back and said, like, to this American dad, like, yeah, I may have been wrong about that. And they're not one to say that they're wrong, so it's like causing some kind of like epiphany, realization, some like, the fight is not only with this father, son, mother, son, father, son, grandfather, son, uncle, aunt, grandmother. It's not like, it wasn't right. A spiritual war was invoked because of, like, it's I'm getting the feeling, the words are escaping me, guys. Like, I wish I could express to you, like, the words are literally escaping me. Like, I'm sitting here, like, gasping with my mouth just open, like, gasping, like this for air. So it's like, this, maybe it's not important what that figure has said. It's not important. What's important is this American dad is astounded. Because this Sagittarius has caused such a change in not only the American dad, but in the Aquarius, that the American dad felt like they couldn't change for their entire life. So yeah, I'm being chatty Cathy, but I think it's because the Sagittarius was being chatty. Okay, and I think since the Sagittarius was being chatty, the Aquarius started being chatty, the American dad was being chatty. Now all this communication is happening, causing healing, causing a rift in the time continuum to cause a time jump. Like, that is so, like, the power that's here, like, I feel it in my chest, the power that's here. A mom or grandma. Okay, so the Aquarius, are we talking about a Sagittarius? No. The Aquarius is a mom or grandma. Aha, I told y'all. So should I separate them? I mean, I could, but it's not necessary, correct? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna separate them anyway because I said that. The mom or grandma, right? Or there could be a mother of the American dad, and the reason why he's called American dad because he has kids. So it's mom and grandma is an Aquarius. And we don't yet know what this American dad is because we already said that the Sagittarius is the person Like if this Aquarius was in between, was the mediator, it was the American Dad on one end and the Sagittarius on the other end. So, you know, we just know that there's going to be some healing, and it's a master bathroom or guest bathroom. Okay, so the master bathroom could be the family dynamic is healing, right? What's happening in the home with the parent, she's healing her own structure, and her healing her own structure is healing the structure with the American Dad. And healing the structure with the American Dad is causing him to go into what would be a bathroom where you would go to cleanse, to purge toxins, to refresh, revamp, revitalize, right? He's going there to do this with this Sagittarius, right? But it's going to require the communication, the not confrontation, but communication that stemmed from all of this healing that happened when the Sagittarius wasn't around, right? And something happened to do with the car. So is this chat gonna happen in a car or around a car? Yeah. All right, is there anything more that we need to? Yes, there's more. Okay, there's more. There's more. I think it said put down. That's what we had in the beginning. Put down, pick up 3. Okay, so we'll use the descriptive deck and we'll get 3 cards from this. So we have full lips, full luscious sloppy lips. So I'm getting like kisses, long kisses, blue hair, blue pink hair, purple hair, fades backside. Okay, so maybe this American Dad has his hair faded, he got a haircut, looking all good and nice, so he can go and speak to this Sagittarius energy. And the Sagittarius energy may have once had colorful hair or currently has colorful hair, or you know, this is talking about the power dynamic, and because we talk about hair being power, a symbol of power, that this Sagittarius has healing, because that's the color of blue, healing power, has pink confident power, right? Unconditional confident power, purple regal power, royal regal power, ethical moral fundamental power. Orange, we have eclectic power, enthusiastic power, bombastic power, power that is in your face but not taking away from you. It is just taking your attention, kind of like a rose garden. You're not going to say, you know, rip up that rose garden, how ugly. No, you're going to, even though it has thorns and everything, you just say how gorgeous that rose garden is. That's like what happens with the color orange. You see the gusto. You see the gusto with a person and you admire it. All right, you see it as healthy opposed to seeing it as something that is toxic, because it is healthy, right? It's not toxic. And this person uses all of these like different defining factors when they're expressing themselves. Okay, so maybe this American Dad at one point cut off the power dynamic, that the healthy power dynamic he had with the Sagittarius, and that's the reason why there was an issue. He went back to old ways that didn't serve him because he was falling back into patterns with his mom. And to me, I'm like, who gets to dictate how you show up in a collective? You do. If you're showing up as a karmic, you best believe the universe is using you as a karmic. I don't have to walk in a situation and say, I judge that you are the karmic and you're doing... No. The universe already judged that based on what you're experiencing. Okay? So me having this reading, I'm seeing, okay, what are you experiencing? Well, this is what a karmic would experience. Well, what is this other person experiencing? This is what someone who's learning a life lesson would experience. Well, what is this other person experiencing? Well, this is what a teacher would have to dive into before teaching someone else. You get what I'm saying? The teacher's not learning a life lesson. It's not changing anything existential for the teacher. However, it is telling the teacher, well, you need to practice teaching. Here's a topic. But the topic of discussion is someone's entire life that for some reason keeps falling apart because they're not seeing the signs and synchronicities. I didn't make that judgment. I'm just telling you it's judgment. Okay? Are you going to be mad at the TV guide for telling you what's going to be on TV? Witchcraft. How you know it's going to be on TV tomorrow morning? How you know it's going to be on TV in 2 to 3 days? You going to be mad at the TV guide? No. You would understand that the TV guide had someone with knowledge put the information in there so that people can be aware of the change, can be aware of whatever shift is happening, and be present at the time that they can plan to be present at the appropriate time in divine timing. Okay? That's what the guide is for, to let you know what's on TV, what's going on, how it's going on, and what time you can watch it. You can't tell the TV, don't play it. No, the TV guy's still going to have it there. Like, you can't do that. So it's the same thing when people are telling you what's happening in their reality. Okay? So in my reality, this is what's happening. Okay? And I'm sure other people can see in their realities that something very similar to this is happening too. I.e., the collective. Okay? Am I casting judgment? I might be casting judgment on an American dad that I know that is doing this, because his actions, the bones of it, not the meat and muscles and all that other stuff. No. The bones of what he's doing is very similar to the bones of what I've seen other people do too. So with the bones being identically the same, I'm going to call it a human confirmation. I'm not going to call it a different species. Well, we don't know what kind of skin it had. Who cares what kind of skin it had if we know that the bones were identical? We know that it's both the same human, it's both the same species. Okay? So, I'm not calling judgment on anybody in your lives. I'm calling judgment on the energy that chooses to show up in my life like this, and chooses to show up in other people's lives and hurt my soul family that is like me over there that I don't know about. I'm protecting them. Because I'm going through it, I know they're going through it, because they're my family and they go through things with me. Okay? So I'm protecting them. I'm casting the judgment that if they're going through it right now and they can't be like, you know what, I definitively believe this and I'm going to walk this path blindly. If they can't do that, they need someone else to give them the support, give them the analysis they can't think through on their own because of emotions, because people are gaslighting them in their face, because people are playing around and playing games and purposely trying to get them off their mark. I'm going to be over here as a separate entity and say, objectively, this is what's going on. Has absolutely nothing to do with your situation. But if all the bones are identical, best believe you can call it the same type of animal, the same type of mammal, the same species. Okay? So yeah. Do we need to know anything else here? No. Okay, so I guess I'll bid us adieu. I'll see you soon. Until the next.